All right, we are currently in gate 20 in the transits, and welcome to Gemini season. So today we are going into gate 20, what the energy is like in the sun, how Gemini influences that. And before we go into all of those things, actually going to share more of like our personal experiences with Gate 20 because we both have Gate 20 in our human design chart.
And I have the full channel.
Yeah. So that will be really impactful and interesting to hear how the full channel shows up versus somebody who just has a hanging gate like I do. So you want to start, Kristen?
You far away, Lauren.
So you could just, I know you were reading the post that I had shared about Gate 20, and we were just talking about a little bit about it before we hopped on. And yeah, I found that when I'm sharing about what I know and through personal experiences, that it really engages people deeper and people can relate, they can contemplate, and this is what Gate 20 is all about, is like contemplation. And as I was contemplating on how Gate 20 has shown up for me, like pre-human design, and now with going through the deconditioning process, like 7+ years in, I can see how gate 20 and my gate 45 both off a defined throat, but both hanging gates. They showed up for me, and it was really impactful when I was going through my certification, reflecting on this and seeing how it would show up in the shadows, and how when I had like my inhibitions lowered, I was like, I don't know what was coming out of my mouth a lot of the times because it would just came so naturally, and it was like I could take anyone down with my words. Like it was never like intentional. Obviously, it was more like from a hurt place and a shadow place. And also, when somebody has that trauma, they have a lot of unprocessed rage. And so, with gate 20, the shadow is the gunslinger. And so, it's in the now, it knows exactly what to say in the now for the positive or the negative. And sometimes those thoughts will come up, but I just notice them. And I have the awareness now to just detach and shift. Okay, what could be a better way to say certain things? Do I need to wait? And as we shift from the shadow and go to the gift, it's really being more in that presence with oneness, because in the shadows, we're not connected
Mm,
to our oneness. We're
yes.
disconnected. We're in our human mind. We're in our monkey mind. But as we go into the gift in the city, we're more connected with our oneness. And so when I'm really connected and allowing in that moment, and I'm not listening to all the busyness in my mind, the noise, the conditioning, I can allow thoughts to drop in from inspiration because I'm a mental projector. And that's really important for me and my human design and my aura type. And so
Mm,
when those things drop in, it's like I'm getting little droplets and rain from the universe of like, oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? And it's so random. It's just like really interesting new awarenesses. It's really a process of contemplation, just being in more of that relaxation and receivership versus the reaction, and feeling that pressure either to like respond or make things happen if you're like not a manifestor. And obviously, with the manifestor, they need to feel that peace, they need to feel that urge to take action when it comes. So it's just very different for each aura type, how it shows up in somebody's chart. And I feel like this is this is like everything. Like I was listening to Richard Rudd talk about this gene key and how it really was sort of the foundation and the birthing of like just contemplating things and how important it is and to be with oneself. And I've really like been experimenting with that this week of like, how can I just really, really, really be present? Like, what is so important that has my attention and distracting me versus just being so present in this now moment? And when we can hone in our energy in the present, we actually magnetize things coming in. And then through some sort of cosmic burst, mutation, pulse, because it's an individual gate, um, something new is birthed. And we have no control over it. It's just really how those energetics work. So that's been my experience so far with the Gate 20. And Kristen, I
Something
know.
that really popped for me, Lauren, when I read what you had written was this is the gate of the metamorphosis. And I
Mhm,
know I know that well, being a line six, right? And
mhm,
being, the caterpillar coming out of the cocoon and spreading its wings with the three life phases. But
mhm,
you wrote and allowing whatever is meant to come in with deep awareness, focus, and surrender. And when I'm not in my mind, when I'm just deep in my body, when I'm with a clear mind, with no agenda, and I'm in silence, things just flow. And when I step away from that, it's like all these things come and happen. Just natural. It's like it's naturally happening. And you
mhm.
said about that magnetism and about how the aura it can attract things and come in, right? And that's what it feels like for me with this full channel. And there's something else that really popped for me when I read your post. I'm just going to bring it up because I need to read something out. Manifestors. So I'm an MG, I'm a manifesting generator. So a combination of both manifestor and a generator. And manifestors will inform or initiate with full presence and allowance. And then a generator will wait to respond with surrendered attention to external stimuli. So if I think about that and the combination of the manifestor and the generator and what that feels like for me, it's about um, being fully aware and being fully present for the person in front of me, for whatever it is that's within my realm at the time, and just being fully aware and being fully present really comes naturally to me if I just listen and I stop and I listen to what's happening, whether it's walking, um, going for a walk and I hear the birds chirping, or whether it's I'm sitting in front of someone and I'm listening to them talking, I will respond from that external stimuli. And then by informing, the initiation process starts and things just start to, that's when they pop and that's when they flow. So I hope that gives, you a little bit more insight into how it actually feels for an MG. And then going through this gate 20, and I've got something here. It says, the gift is self-assurance, right? So I surrender to life at every moment. And that's a really tough one. It's not an easy one for an MG, for a manifesting generator to do, to surrender and really just go, well, I'm just going to leave it to the universe. And I've really had to practice really hard on this for the last 5 years now since deconditioning through human design. But prior to that, I was using other modalities. And yeah, it's a really hard one. But when I do surrender and I just allow and I allow the universe to show me the path or show me the way, things just magnetize so quick and so fast. It's like, wow, where did that come
Read
from?
what it says, what I wrote about manifesting generators in my post.
Okay. So manifesting generator, can you allow the slowdown so the present moment can meet you fully and then go from there? Which is exactly what we were just talking about. So, everything is all um, relevant. Everything is synchronicity. And when, yeah, when you slow down and you're present and you're in that moment, things just, that's the only way I can explain it.
Because you have the channel of charisma, which is the 3420. So that's the
Correct.
only manifesting generating channel in the whole body graph. And so I know it's this the power of the great for the gate 34 going up to
Mm,
the throat. It's like it wants to respond, it wants to have power, it wants
that's
to
right.
talk, it wants to get things going, right? And so it's like how does that how can you use that in a way that really honors both those gates, being in the stillness but also in response? What is your um journey been with that?
Um, I think what I've had to learn is really about grounding presence. That's been something that I've always been attracted to, but I've never really practiced it on a regular basis, really. And when I came across the Gene Keys 4 years ago now, and I learnt about there's an app called Triple Flame, and globally people can pause for 3 minutes. And I really started tapping into that. And that's when I really started learning to understand what breath work was, because I was exploring breath work at the same time as learning the art of contemplation and pausing. And so the combination of the three have really been so transformational for me, especially when I can get into the negative, the shadow patterns of not stopping and waiting and listening. If I'm speaking out of alignment, if I'm overriding my emotional authority, and or if I'm not waiting for the wave, the emotional wave to happen either, and I respond, or if I'm initiating from the shadow side, it's not great. It's really burnt me bad. And I've learned
Mm.
some very hard lessons. So when I step back in and breathe through, just stop and pause, it's really got me through some really interesting times, some really tough times too. And when I speak from the heart, I'm speaking from deep awareness through the art of listening, or just contemplating but not contemplating. I've learned that when you start learning about the transits in particular, it's been really life changing for me, because I understand that there's these different elements that make us feel and do and speak and change in different ways. And so if I explore how it feels for me when the transits come through, and they are quite different every 5.5 to 6 days, there's just so much emotional awareness and so much more intelligence to really understand what's happening without it having a shadow impact.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
That's,
love
I
what you
think, the
said.
key thing, right?
Mhm.
The key element there is really understanding so you can step more into your gifts or step into the gift of that transit this week, regardless if you have a gate or if you have the channel that the sun is transiting through that gate. Like for this week, it's 20. So it's regardless whether you have it or not, we're still globally going to feel that impact. It just depends on how you choose to ride with it. So how are you,
Right.
the
And
question
like,
is how are you riding with it?
yeah, and especially as like a projector, I've been contemplating how can I be in complete stillness, feel that safety in my body, that trust in the universe, and allow my aura to magnetize the next juicy invitation and
Mm-hmm.
making sure there's recognition with it because it's a two-parter. And just being so in that bliss of waiting. I
Mm-hmm.
think projectors miss certain parts of our strategy because we're the newest aura types. It's complex, it's messy, it's totally a new way of being in this world. And so it's like we're here to master systems. And so in the waiting, are we using our waiting time productively versus just tuning out? And what's really I've been noticing is when I'm focusing my energy and I'm waiting and I'm doing my investigating and I'm really building on my systems of mastery, I notice what lifts up my frequency. And that helps with the magnetism. If I'm like Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys, he is a really great transmitter of this knowledge, and he has a natural like frequency and vibration to kind of like shift you when you're reading this, or like great teachers with this system and knowledge. Like I notice it versus if I'm kind of just scrolling or I'm watching something, my energy and frequency dips. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like having that awareness. And I'm so sensitive that my energy and attention, it has to be super selective, right? Like we always can't control it, but like what we can control, it's really that's a whole other self-love that we get to practice. And then
Can I
for
ask you
rough,
something?
yeah.
So you've got here, can you surrender to the bliss of waiting in pure stillness
Mhm.
and align recognition for a juicy invitation?
Yeah.
So can you?
Yeah, that's the experiment, right? And
Mm,
that's what I was meditating and contemplating yesterday and seeing like what does it feel like, and so just putting that intention out there and then seeing what came back into my reality, which I'm like,
hmm.
oh, it's really different for projectors, and I just want projectors to really understand this. Like it's more about how you're being, your intention, how you're using your energy, not so much of like all the things that you have to do. Like of course we will have to do things in life, right? But if you're pushing and forcing and doing, you're actually going to push and force what you want outside of you. And so it's like what you can outsource and get that energetic support because we all need it. We're not here to be lone wolves like manifestors. And even manifestors, they need projector guidance, energetic support to launch their big visions. So we all need each other. That's the beauty of human design and knowing how all our energetic types work together.
Mm.
And reflectors, because I don't want to leave out reflectors, um, it's really what was the thing for reflectors, so I
Yeah.
don't
Amen.
misquote it.
What surprises can you allow in with curiosity and childlike wonder in the now?
Yeah, that is so important for reflectors to not feel the pressure because they're all completely undefined in their whole chart. to give themselves space, a lot of space. You need 28 days to make a decision because you're lunar beings and you're changing through the transit so much. And so you want to track what's coming up and see how you feel in certain environments and who you're mirroring and what feels like a surprise and awe and wonder versus what feels disappointing and not in alignment. And can you allow yourself to really be surprised?
Mm.
And so that is our transmission for gate 20 so far and how it can support the types this week. And the last thing before we go into our deeper presentation with our membership is a oracle card that I drew before we hopped on. And it's so perfect for this transit. It's sanctuary. And it says, I am divinely guided and okay, let me redo that. I am divinely guided gently and lovingly. So it's really about being in stillness and knowing that you are supported. And we're seeing how the conditioning of go, go, go. Okay, I don't know what it's like to rest. I don't know what it's like to feel safe in my body. Something must be wrong. I have to respond. I have to do this. I have to do that. My monkey mind is going da 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 da. That's not what your true self wants you to know. It's not what your true self wants you to do. It wants you to be so in alignment with who you are, to have your own inner sanctuary with yourself, with your higher self, with your source, whatever that looks like for you, so then you can be empowered in whatever choice, in whatever response, in whatever invitation, depending on your type calls you to do. And
So I've
that's
got a
what,
question for each of the types
yeah.
then. So this is something that they can take away. So manifestors, declare your intention and lead from peace. Presence will fuel your impact. How does that land for you? And then generators and MGs, your voice has a magnetic power when it's in response. Trust what excites you and feel into that one. And then projectors, if you wait for the recognition before speaking truth, your wisdom is for those that are ready to hear it, right? And then reflectors, if you notice where you feel present or rushed, then reflect on the collective urgency. So come join us in navigating the star codes, our monthly container where we share weekly transit changes. And if you'd like more information, just comment star codes and we'll send you through the information, and we look forward for you to journeying with us soon. See you on the inside.